Good day, everybody. I hope that you are well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson on sentence types. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts, grade 6. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of sentence types. All right. So our chapter is sentence types. Our subject is English Language Arts, grade 6. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of sentence types is the sentence declarative, interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory. That is going to be our lessons for today. Is the sentence declarative? Is it imperative? Or exclamatory? All right, so there are four kinds of sentences, right? And I made mention of it being declarative, interrogative, imperative, as well as exclamatory, right? And basically, whenever you either write, when we have conversation, right? This is just, we basically just call it the types of different sentences. And of course, when you talk, you're not going to talk in the manner of, okay, I'm talking in an exclamatory manner. We don't say things like that, right? But the way we put either emphasis on things, the way we either speak in a calming manner, right? The way we mention things or say things, you will be able to make mention of, okay, is this declarative? Is this imperative? And so on. All right, so when it comes to the first type of sentence, right? And we have four kinds of sentences. And the first kind of sentence is a declarative sentence. And a declarative sentence is a statement that you're making, right? And a declarative sentence, we make a statement, and this statement, it always ends with a period. And if we look at an example, we can say, the nurse told Mr. Abrams to roll up his sleeve so that she could check his blood pressure. That is basically it. It's like you're just asking, Sir, Mr. Abrams, is it possible for you to roll up your sleeve so that we can check your blood pressure? Right? So that is basically just a statement that is being made, or it's where somebody is making a statement by saying that this is what the nurse told, Mr. Abrams. So that is just a statement. Another statement could be where you, for example, say, I have so many siblings. I have two siblings, one sibling, I'm the only child. That is a statement that you're just making. You're just telling us something. Or another example could be of a statement is where you, for example, say, today is a beautiful day, or it is raining outside, or it is sunny outside. I have on a red dress, I have on jeans and sneakers. That is basically just you telling someone something. It's a statement that is being made. And that we call a declarative sentence. All right. The next one is an interrogative sentence. If you think of, you know, those movies like your NCIS and those type of series, where they take the person to a holding cell and now they are going to be asking the person questions. We call that they are going to be interrogating that person. So if you look at this word interrogative and they're going to interrogate somebody, right? An interrogative sentence is a question. It's like they're going to be asking this person questions. They're interrogating the person, right, in this holding cell. So an interrogative sentence is basically a question, or it's questions that you are asking the next person. An interrogative sentence, it always ends with a question mark. So it ends with a question mark. And an example is, do you have any plans for the upcoming weekend? Have you studied for the test? May I get a lift with you to the park or the zoo? Right? Are you going with on the school excursion? So, questions that is being asked. If you ask your friend a question or you ask any person a question, even questions like, how old are you? What's your name? That is an interrogative sentence. Another word is for interrogative, we say it's a question, or it's questions that is being asked, and it ends with a question mark. And then we have an imperative sentence. An imperative sentence. An imperative sentence is a command. And a command doesn't have to be like, I command you to do this now or else. No, that is that doesn't necessarily mean it's a command, right? We're not talking about that command. So an imperative sentence is a command and it makes a request or it tells someone to do something. It doesn't have to be you're forcing someone to do something. Do it now or else I will beat you up. No, and we're not talking about that, right? Sometimes just what you are telling someone to do is an imperative. It's basically a command, right? Like, let's say, for example, if you maybe ask somebody to close the door, that is a command. If your parents ask you to do your chores, do your homework. If your teacher says study for the assignment, right? Those are things where somebody tells you to do something. It's like making a request. And we call that an imperative sentence, and it is a command. An imperative sentence, it either ends with a period, but if the command shows strong feelings, this is now where you come with if you don't do it then. So if the command shows strong feelings, and then it can end with an exclamation point. And an example, right, of a command that ends with a period, we can say, for this assignment, use references to support your claims. You see, it's not anything that is forceful. It's just like where your teacher's telling you that you need to use, like for this assignment, use references to support your claim. They're telling you to use references to support your claim, meaning that you're going to get marks for it. But now, if the command shows strong feelings, right? And we said that one ends with an exclamation point. Then it says, don't drive fast. So don't drive so quickly in a construction zone, right? And this ends with an exclamation point, meaning that the person was probably like shouting because of panic, right? And then lastly, we have an exclamatory sentence. And an exclamatory sentence is like a statement that is being made. But with this statement that is being made, it shows surprise or it shows strong feelings, right? And an exclamatory sentence, it always ends with an exclamation point. And if you look at an example of an exclamatory sentence, it says, I can't wait to travel through Europe this summer, meaning that this person is excited, right? Because they are going to be traveling through Europe this summer. So, once again, these are for our four kinds of sentences, right? We have a declarative sentence, which is a statement, and it ends with a period. We have an interrogative sentence, which is a question, and it always ends with a question mark. We have an imperative sentence, which is a command, and it either ends with a period, because it's a request that is being made, or someone telling you to do something, or if it shows strong feelings. If this command shows strong feelings, and then it ends with an exclamation point. And then lastly, we have an exclamatory sentence. And an exclamatory sentence is like a statement, right? But it just shows surprise or it shows strong feelings. And it always ends with an exclamation point. And these are our four kinds of sentences or types of sentences: declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences. And remember, in everyday conversation, we use like a declarative sentence, we use interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. If you are excited because you just passed your test, right? Then it's like you are, and you're about to tell somebody. We're not saying that you're talking in exclamatory sentence, but it's showing exclamatory. It's like an exclamatory sentence based on how you speak. If we were not to, for example, paraphrase what you're saying or say exactly what you're saying. If you're just telling someone to do something, we call that imperative. If you're asking a question, it is interrogative. If you are just saying anything, something, I did my homework. If you're just telling somebody that, that is a declarative sentence. All right, so now we're going to aplusstudents.ca, and we are going to do the lesson of: is the sentence declarative? Is it interrogative? Is it imperative or exclamatory? All right. All right. So now we are going to look at, once again, our four kinds of sentences. We said that we have a declarative sentence, which is a statement and it ends with a period. Then we have an interrogative sentence, which is a question, and it always ends with a question mark. Then we have an imperative sentence, which is a command, right? And it's where you make a request or tell someone to do something. That is an imperative sentence. And it ends with a period. But if the command shows strong feelings, then it ends with an exclamation point. And then we have an exclamatory sentence, which is like a statement. And it shows surprise or it shows strong feelings. And an exclamatory sentence, it always ends with an exclamation point, right? All right, so now we're going to look at our activities first, and then we're going to our test. It says, you are an absolute genius for figuring out how to stop the leak. We need to say which kind of sentence is that. A declarative, interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory. Look at also how it ends, because remember they say it either ends with a period, exclamation point, question mark, right? So we need to say what type of sentence that is. You are an absolute genius for figuring out how to stop the leak. All right. And if we were to find, or let's say if we were to, for example, choose or say what the correct word is, type of sentence is, then we can say it is an exclamatory sentence. And an exclamatory sentence, it's like a statement, right? But it shows, strong feelings. It's like saying you're an absolute genius for figuring out how to stop the leak. It's like excitement that the person is showing, right? The next one says Mr. Greer gave a lecture on water conservation, during which he stressed the importance of not watering lawns during a drought. So, Mr. Greer gave a lecture on water conservation, during which he stressed the importance of not watering lawns during a drought. Right? And remember, when there's a drought, then there's no water, right? So, which means that if you are still going to be watering your lawn, you're adding to it. So, is this a declarative, interrogative, imperative, or an exclamatory sentence? All right, and if we were to say which kind of sentence it is, and then we will say it is a declarative sentence. It ends with a period, and it's basically just a statement that Mr. Greer made during a lecture on water conservation. All right, and the last one says, which presidential candidate do you think won the debate last night? Is you need to say what kind of sentence or type of sentence that is. And if we were to choose the correct type of question or sentence, then we can say this is a interrogative sentence, right? Because it says, which presidential candidate do you think won the debate last night? Remember, we said an interrogative sentence, it always ends with a question mark, right? Just we're supposed to put a double R. But interrogative sentence, it's a question that is being asked and it ends with a question mark. All right, so now we're going to the test. We're going to do our test where we are either going to say what kind of sentence it is. Is the sentence either declarative, interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory? All right, and it says, I can't believe this is Leah's first time seeing the Pacific Ocean. Is that option one, an interrogative sentence, a declarative sentence, or an exclamatory sentence? Also, look at what the sentence ends with. So, option one, option two, or option three. And if we look at the sentence, right, that ends with an exclamation point, right, we can say this is an exclamatory sentence because it says, I can't believe this is Leah's first time seeing the Pacific Ocean. It is a statement that is being made, not expecting a response, and it ends with an exclamatory point, an exclamation point. So option three is correct. The next one says, what kind of sentence is this? Which local reservoirs supplies our town with its fresh water? So, which local reservoirs supply our town with its fresh water? It ends with a question mark. Is this an imperative sentence? Option two, a declarative sentence? Or option three, an interrogative sentence? So we need to say what type of sentence it is. Option one, option two, or option three. All right. And if we were to choose the correct one, we would say which local reservoir supplies our town with its fresh water? And we would say this is interrogative sentence. Because interrogative sentence is like we ask questions and ends with a question mark. So option three is correct. All right, the next one says, what kind of sentence is this? Celery, onions, and carrots are often used in sauces and soups in French cooking. So, celery, onions, and carrots are often used in sauces and soups in French cooking. And it ends with a period. Is this an exclamatory sentence, an interrogative sentence, or is it a declarative sentence? So is it option one? Is it option two? Or option three? And if we were to choose the correct one, right, which says celery, onions, and carrots are often used in sauces and soups in French cooking, and it ends with a period, we can say it is option three, right? It is basically just a declarative sentence. It is a statement that someone makes, right? If you look at the next one, it says, what kind of sentence is this? Tell us as soon as the contest results are posted. So tell us as soon as the contest results are posted. Is this an exclamatory sentence, interrogative sentence, or is it an imperative sentence? Tell us as soon as the contest results are posted. Option one, option two, or option three. So tell us as soon as the contest results are posted. And if we were to choose which type of sentence this is, right? And also it ends with a period. And then we can say, remember they were saying that tell us, it's like they're telling someone to tell you, right? So we can say this is an imperative sentence. It's like making a command, right? And that is what I'm saying. A command doesn't have to be like, you better do this or else. No, it's just telling someone to do something, right? Subtly. All right, the next one says, how many articles did Jared write before his publisher offered him a book contract? And it ends with a question mark. So, how many articles did Jared write before his publisher offered him a book contract? And it ends with a question mark. Is it option one? Is this a declarative sentence? Option two, an interrogative sentence? Or option three, an imperative sentence? And this sentence ends with a question mark. So is it option one, declarative, option two, interrogative, or option three, imperative? All right, and if we were to choose the correct one, it says, how many articles did Jared write before his publisher offered him a book contract? Look at it, remember it ends with a question mark. So, which means that yes, we will choose option two, which is an interrogative. Remember, interrogative is like you're asking people questions, like interrogating that person. So, option two is correct. Well done. Do you know Kevin from soccer camp, or do you have another connection with him? So, do you know Kevin from soccer camp, or do you have another connection with him? It ends with a question mark. Is this an interrogative sentence? Is this a declarative sentence? Or is this an exclamatory sentence? Option one, two, or three. All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, because it's ending with a question mark. It says, do you know Kevin from soccer camp? Or do you have another connection with him? So we can say this is option one, which is interrogative, because the question is being asked. All right, let's look at the last one. It says, you're an absolute genius for figuring out how to stop the leak. So you are an absolute genius for figuring out how to stop the leak. And it ends with an exclamation point. So we need to say, is it option one, an exclamatory sentence? Option two, a declarative sentence? Or option three, an interrogative sentence? And if we were to choose which type of sentence this is, that says, you're an absolute genius for figuring out how to stop the leak, and it ends with an exclamation point, then yes, we can say it's option one, which is an exclamatory sentence. Remember, we said an exclamatory sentence is a statement and it ends with an exclamation point because it just shows excitement. It shows, strong feelings. All right. So we now figured out we've just learned that there are four kinds of sentences. We have a declarative sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative, and exclamatory sentence. We said a declarative sentence is a statement where it's like you're just telling someone something and it ends with a period. An interrogative sentence, it's like you're questioning the person. It's like you're not necessarily questioning, but it's you ask somebody a question and it ends with a question mark. An imperative sentence is a command where you are telling someone to do something and or you're making a request and it ends either with a period or an exclamation point, right? It ends with an exclamation point if it shows strong feelings. And we have an exclamatory sentence that ends with an exclamation point, and it is a statement, right? But you show strong feeling or excitement or so on, right? So these are four different kinds of sentences. We call them sentence types. And I really hope that you have a better understanding of the different sentence types and how to use it, when to use it. So this is now the end of our lesson, grade 6. Thank you very much for joining the class, and I really hope that you're going to have a good evening further. So till next time, goodbye.